Hey.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are a funny team. Now, I say that because by the end of this most recent offseason, I saw a lot of people, especially people on Twitter, taking bold claims that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be one of the surprising teams of the season, that they're going to be a winning team, have a good record, good players overall, all that good stuff, and just overall be a formidable squad. Then they come out the gates, they start the season 3-1, they have some quality wins, and just ever since that point, it's been these same old Timberwolves. Across the last 9 games, they've only won once. And in my opinion, I think this might be getting to final straw territory for a certain all-star that goes by the name of Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns has never been someone to shy away from showing their emotion, showing how they feel on the basketball court, but it's been very, very evident this season so far, especially as this losing streak has continued to go on and on. I know he had the quote in the media going around about how he knows how losing streaks can go in Minnesota. We also had the recent occurrence where Anthony Edwards was isoing on the wing and Karl-Anthony Towns, instead of staying locked in on offense, already started to walk back on defense and looked pretty dejected. Now, who knows if this is actually part of a bigger issue or if it was just a one-time thing. But again, I think this could be the start of something big where Karl-Anthony Towns is slowly starting to show more and more frustration with this Minnesota Timberwolves franchise, and for pretty good reason. This is Karl-Anthony Towns' 7th season in the NBA. He's been pretty solid as an NBA player since game 1. Even his rookie season, he averaged 18 points and was all worth the #1 pick that the Timberwolves spent to get him. But if you also look at those 7 years, they've had 1 playoff appearance in that time span, and they were bounced in the first round. So again, it's very understandable why Karl-Anthony Towns would be frustrated with how his career has gone so far. Not to mention, he might not even be the guy on this Minnesota Timberwolves team anymore. Ever since they took Anthony Edwards with the first overall pick 2 drafts ago, Ant has just been awesome since coming to the league. He's funny, he's charismatic, everyone loves his quotes in the media, everyone loves the way that he plays. He's a fun, exciting young player. And so with the Timberwolves having no real direction right now, Karl-Anthony Towns looking frustrated, and Anthony Edwards looking the part to be a cornerstone piece on a team, it's for all those reasons that I wouldn't be surprised if Cat forces his way out of Minnesota or just somehow gets dealt or traded in some sort of fashion as soon as this deadline. Or at the very least, there will be a point in time during the season where we stop calling them Karl-Anthony Towns' Timberwolves and start transitioning towards Anthony Edwards Timberwolves, because honestly, that's the only outcome I can see, in the future, a couple of years down the line. And plus, this wouldn't even be the first time we've had a news cycle where Karl-Anthony Towns and trade requests are in the same headline. Those two things have been seen together many times before. I bet there would be endless suitors out there wanting to have a Karl-Anthony Towns on their team because as much as I've been dissing Karl-Anthony Towns so far in this video, he remains probably one of the best offensively gifted bigs that the league has ever seen in all of its history. He might even be the best. He's someone who I would consider a true unicorn just for his size, build, to be a 7-foot center, be able to handle the ball, play make, and shoot the ball like he does. Even this season, he's averaging 23 points on crazy efficiencies where he's shooting 46% from 3 on 7 attempts per game, which is just absolutely insane. He's only 26 years old, so if he is put on the trade market, people are going to be very much willing to give him a big extension or big offer or whatever they need because he's fully worth it. He has had some injury issues over the past couple of seasons, but if you look back prior to that, he never missed a game across his first couple of seasons in general. So again, I'm not by any means saying that Karl-Anthony Towns is going to ask for a trade. I don't know him personally. I don't know what he does during his daily life or what his thoughts are. But at the same time, I wouldn't at all be surprised if he's the next big name that we see in the news cycle, getting, rumors here and there about wanting a trade. Does he want out? Does he not want out? I wouldn't be surprised by any of it. Because I also want to bring up the other point of view on this topic and just look at the flip side. Because if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves and you have someone like Karl-Anthony Towns, who's only 26, one of the greatest offensive players in the league, and just overall is just a cornerstone guy, that's not someone that you want to trade from your team. If you're Minnesota, you want him to be the centerpiece for your team for his entire career, and although he's done that so far through his first 7 seasons, but you have to actually show him something at some point. And luckily for the Timberwolves, they have a whole lot of young talent that they've been able to acquire so far, and that's part of the reason why a lot of people were high on the Timberwolves coming into the season, was just because the roster is just loaded with talent. And as we saw across the first couple of games, when the talent is clicking, the Timberwolves look really good, but then they just get to a certain point where the talent doesn't mesh that well and they just look really bad. I mean, during this losing streak, their offense literally looked like it was taken out of my college campus's rec center. That's how abysmal they were looking on the court offensively together. It's been a bunch of heavy isolation, not a lot of passing, barely any movement off the ball, and it's just a reliance on either D'Angelo Russell to be hitting shots, Anthony Edwards to be hitting shots, or Karl-Anthony Towns to be hitting shots. And if those guys aren't able to get going and the defense focuses in on them, then it's just a tough night for the Timberwolves. And when I say this next thing, I mean zero disrespect to Naz Reid at all, because I love Naz Reid. He's one of the most underrated backup centers in the league, but he should not be the next highest average scorer behind Russell, Towns, and Edwards right now, at least across the last 9 games he is. But again, Reid is Karl-Anthony Towns' backup. That means of all the players on the bench, he should probably be getting not as many minutes as some other guys like Malik Beasley or Jaden McDaniels or Patrick Beverley, which I know, Malik Beasley is really the only scorer in that group of names I just listed, but again, it just I don't know. This Timberwolves team is just so insufferable. At least the defense has looked decent at times. Karl-Anthony Towns isn't looking terrible on that end of the floor. Anthony Edwards has actually been amazing as a point of attack defender, just sticking with a lot of guards that are trying to run the offense. He's being really pesky, and that's great for Anthony Edwards. Jaden McDaniels continues to just be a long-limbed defender who's able to protect the rim, be great on the help defense, and be able to stay in front of his wing defenders and just be overall just an absolute pest again. The addition of Patrick Beverley has definitely not hurt this team. He just brings a certain energy and veteranship that has definitely helped out the team a little bit, at least. Jared Vanderbilt's another wing forward, hybrid guy that's also just amazing wingspan, great defensively, is able to slide just much like Jaden McDaniels. He protects the rim, he plays great help defense, he's great on-ball defense. He's good at a lot of defensive things. Again, at the end of the day, there's just so much talent on this roster that it's so disappointing to see them get off to a good start and then just fall back into their old habits, because I feel like this is the same Timberwolves team that we've seen for the past couple of years now. A whole lot of promise and never anything to actually show for it. And honestly, at this point, I'm all for star players trying to get the team that drafted them a championship. It was awesome to see Giannis do it last season, but at the same time, can the players just have a little bit of fun for once? Because I don't care what Karl-Anthony Towns says in any interviews from here on out. There's just no way that he's happy in Minnesota, especially after 7 years of the same BS going on every year. The Timberwolves have been terrible at forming a good solid team around him, and now that they finally are building a good solid team around him, they still just continue to not win games. And to be honest, I don't know how to fix any of this. I don't know if this is simply just the players not being checked in fully. I don't know if this is Cat being a not so great leader. I don't know if this is Anthony Edwards, holding onto the ball too much and trying to play hero ball too much, or just the fact that D'Angelo Russell isn't just that good of a player in general. I don't know. Either way, I'm fully expecting some sort of shakeup to happen with this Timberwolves team, especially if they continue to go on this huge slide that they've started across the past couple of weeks. And if that huge change happens to be a huge Karl-Anthony Towns trade at some point this year, hopefully at the deadline, then I'm all for it, just to get some more drama and excitement into the league, because that's always a good time. And if you've made it to this point in the video, then congratulations, you're a real one. Now, if you enjoyed this video, maybe think about hitting the subscribe button. It should be somewhere in this general direction. Or if you're not sure yet, maybe check out another video, which should be in this general direction. Either way, thank you for watching.